Kyle Busch taking home the checkered flag.
You're about to see history. The first man ever to sweep all three Touring Series.
Obviously the fans love it. There are some boos, though, and you kind of feed off that, don't you?
I don't care. Make the noise. Who cares?
I can't believe he's 40. Okay, where did that go? I can't be that old.
I literally started racing when I was 13 years old, and so I had only 5 years of racing experience, let alone only being 18 years old and getting into a professional career and one that's in the limelight.
He got thrown into the limelight at such a young age. He was a kid growing up in the spotlight.
Didn't quite do things maybe the best of ways along those earlier days. Being told like, hey, you don't really fit here, you're not really our personality that we're looking for at Hendrick, shined a light on you a little bit of like, okay, there's definitely some growing up to do here.
Kyle is a generational talent. We ended up meeting Kyle, and I didn't know very much about Kyle. I remember leaving his interview, and I had a totally different perception of Kyle after that, like in a positive way. Like I was like, why do I not know this about him? Like I felt like I didn't know that's who he was.
When I was a young kid and I got in there in 2008, that was a statement for me. That was really who built my career and some of that Rowdy persona.
We all knew we had lightning in a bottle. We might not have known how special it was going to be, like the dominance that was going to happen both in Xfinity and in Cup for that next 15-year run. Kyle brought an intensity that I don't know that I've really seen since. Kyle really did have a switch that would flip. He was just zoned, locked in.
When you're able to go out there and win a lot, you have this step, you have this character that you can play into, and you can talk all the smack you want to talk.
Pure talent. That's about it. Everything's great.
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
There are some boos, though, and you kind of feed off that, don't you?
I don't care. Make the noise. Who cares? That's just me.
That's sort of who I was. It was this character. It was this guy who could go out there and give no shits. I think what really was a moment of the Rowdy character was probably the Bristol sweep in 2010. Truck Series race, we won that race.
Kyle Busch will win 3 in a row at Bristol.
But then the next night, racing in the Xfinity race.
Kyle Busch trying to go 2 for 2.
He came up on me on the backstretch of turn 2, kind of like turned himself into the wall, did one of these bounce off the walls and kind of like shake loose back and forth. And I go to pass him on the outside, and he hooks it right.
Right back up, he turns, Keselowski. Here he comes. Kyle Busch is now 2 for 2.
Kyle Busch has his 5th chance at getting the trifecta.
Oh, y'all are so loving.
And I looked over at Casey Mears, who was sitting next to me, and I said, man, what an ass. Like, and just made that comment. And Casey Mears looked over at me and said, I bet you won't tell him that.
Kyle Busch is an ass.
I go out there and win the Cup race and complete the triple sweep.
The first man ever to sweep all 3 Touring Series, Kyle Busch.
People afterwards are like, you know, what'd you think about Brad's comments?
Who? He drives the number 12 car.
I saw it, but I passed it.
Do you still think Kyle Busch is an ass? Yeah, there's times. I think he's mellowed down a lot.
Each one of those drivers has his own different personality. Kyle's is aggressive. You know, he's going to state what he feels you're going to get, and that's a personality that everybody kind of knows. That's a big personality.
In a race, I don't know what y'all are whining about, but if you don't like that kind of racing, don't even watch.
To a large degree, Coach let Kyle be Kyle. He let him be Rowdy. I think Coach let Kyle be Rowdy because what you want is you want Kyle to walk onto the grid on Sunday with swagger and to say, I'm going to whip everybody. Peak Rowdy came with that. It came with both the swagger, it would come with the frustration when it didn't go his way, and I think Coach was the perfect leader. There was a mutual respect there of the greatness of each other, of Coach and Kyle, and you know, again, I think Kyle appreciated Coach letting him be Rowdy, but also pushing back when he needed to. It was a really good balance.
Being able to talk to Joe a lot and, have older leadership around me within my team and the crew chiefs I was able to work with. And so that really gave me I'd say an easier transition of help, of being able to grow up a little bit better. I really, really wished, and I tried as hard as I could to keep all of that together. And then of course the departure was just not a smooth one, not a great one.
It was unfortunate. We had something really special. I think it was complicated, and there were a lot of things that went into it for sure.
A turning point in my career for sure. Grateful of the fact that I'm with a good team at RCR and being able to compete still on Sundays.
Over the years, I think his personality and everything has adjusted over those years, particularly with the family. From a young guy, single, having at it, getting after it, to being a family guy.
I've seen Kyle change since becoming a dad in many ways. There is a whole nother element when you get to bring your child to victory lane, and that was something so special. Obviously, Kyle started with Brexton as he was little, throwing him up in the air.
Being able to teach Brexton about racing and what I love is really, really unique and very cool to me. I feel like there's a lot of finishing touches that you can add to a driver and his character and how he handles situations. So trying to lend that 20 years of experience to a 9-year-old certainly going to be crucial in his development. And I feel really blessed and honored to be able to help him with that.
When Brexton won the Tulsa shootout, he literally had tears in his eyes. And that was just so exciting. And it's amazing as his wife to just, see that softer side of him. And I also love not only with Brexton, but Lennox. She's all of 2. We got her a little cart, and Kyle, same as he did with Brexton, just at a much younger age, brought her out and was like, okay, Lenny, showing her the ropes. And it was cute as can be, especially sometimes when she's driving a hot pink Barbie car and Kyle's jogging after her, and you're like, he's a great dad.
When we talk, it's often about how Brexton did that weekend, and his eyes light up. Racer dad, who knows what comes out of that and how that evolves based on Brexton's career. But I think this version of Kyle is a very different version of Kyle than we inherited back in 2008.
Behind closed doors, he's loving and he's attentive and he's funny and he's outgoing, and I think that's the person that I've always gotten to see.
That's probably a misconception, that Rowdy is all there is to Kyle. So there's more to him than Rowdy, and that he's underrated as a teammate. That the misconception might be that he was a bull in a china shop and super selfish, but Kyle was a really good teammate. And I think that's probably not appreciated enough.
For me, being as the character or, my persona changing a little bit, it's just, being more humble in the space that I am. It's being more appreciative for the opportunity that I have right now to still be out there racing on Sundays. I seem to also be the elder statesman now, where I'm turning 40, one of the second, third oldest guys out there in the field. And so, when you have something to say, or when people ask you questions, when media asks you questions, you tend to say things a little bit better, and people tend to listen a little bit better, agree with you a little bit more often. So this is obviously, a time in which, in my career, where people think, oh, he's retiring, it's retirement time. And it's like, I'm only 39, I'm turning 40. Prime time is 36 to 43, so I'm still in those years, and I still have that time ahead of me to be able to go out there and compete. When it comes down to the end of the day, would I rather be remembered as Kyle or Rowdy? I think you'll be remembered as both. You'll be remembered as Kyle, a 230-plus time winner in NASCAR, a 3-time NASCAR champion. There's definitely going to be the rough scripts, the rough moments of times of running over guys or getting run over, and having those fight moments and things. But at the end of the day, that's sort of what built you to who you were and gave you those passion points to be able to go out there and succeed.
That's right, Rowdy Nation. All for you, baby.
It's hard for me to look at Kyle and not see a lot of the same person he's always been. But no doubt he's evolved and matured.
I've seen him mature a lot, and so I think, who knows for Kyle, the best version of him may still be yet to come.